Thank you all for tuning in to Sophisticated Sunday. I'm going to be your reader today, Nexo. We are going to be talking about hexes, curses, breaking up marriages, killing people with deities. Can you disrespect them? All in today's show with my co-host,
Osun Funke. I am an Yanifa, priestess of Ifa. I'm not to be fucked with.
Exactly. And I'm priest of Vodun, and I will steal your ancestors. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start the show with this question. In your opinion, what does the construct of respect mean or look like in African spirituality?
Okay. So that's a multi-layered, I have a multi-layered answer. Mm-hmm. But the first answer is mastery. This is a lifetime pursuit. In Ifa, which is my tradition, it's a culture, not just a religion. It encompasses everything from religion, obviously, language, food, attire, so many different things. And so there is this understanding that you would devote your entire life to mastering the culture and all of the intrinsic little things that go into that. When you approach a deity, it's understood that you would do it a certain way. Your altar is on the floor. It's not up high. You never stand above your deity when you approach them. You're always eye level or lower, except when you're talking to the warriors. Just little things like that. So mastery of the culture and understanding of the minutia that makes it a culture, I think, is part of what that respect looks like. And it's difficult for a lot of Americans and Westerners to even begin working with these deity and working within the system because our ideas of respect and the way we do things are very different.
Yeah, because we typically think of respect as, oh, let me not cuss around my ancestral altar, and let me not say anything disrespectful. But respect really means blind loyalty.
Yeah, it does, and we curse sometimes in the middle of work or prayers. You get what I'm saying? And so that actually is out the window. It's like, no, you wouldn't want to curse in front of your grandmama. But sometimes when you're talking to a warrior and you need him to fuck somebody up, fuck this person up. That's part of your prayer. That's part of your approach.
Mm-hmm. You get what Lord Barone, please remove this person. Slit their throats. If they cross me, okay? And that's what we do. It's respect is different. The respect comes into the respect for me in the Haitian Vodou means when I approach Baron, it means I come at you man to man. Mm-hmm. I don't come at you on some little kid shit. I come at you saying, with my chest poked out, this is what I want, this is what I command you to do, this is what I need you to do, and nigga do it. And he gonna be like, alright, my nigga, he daps me up. That's respect for that particular deity. Mm-hmm. Every deity requires respect, which means to honor their rules and follow them blindly, be loyal to them regardless of how you feel about them. Because at the end of the day, you need them more than they need you, because they got so many other people that's willing to serve them.
Absolutely. And that's why I had mentioned, like, when you go to the warriors, like Ogun, for example, you don't kneel before Ogun. You stand up to him, eye to eye, so to speak. You know what I mean? If you lower your head, if you bow your head, they say that that's a signal for him to chop your head off.
So, what does disrespect look like in African spirituality?
Just pull up Ifa on YouTube.
Ifa on YouTube, or search hit the hashtag Osun.
Right.
On Instagram, and then you see them white girls. Exactly. I'm a child of Osun. I'm a Bruja, but I'm a child of Osun.
Right. That's what it looks like. It looks like non-mastery. It looks like playing. It looks like not understanding or respecting the tradition. It's a tradition, and it's 30,000 years old. It's very rich and involved. It's beautiful and amazing, but you can't just do whatever you want to do. You cannot bring that Western, I am free American attitude to something that is 30,000 years old. Mm-hmm. And also scientific. And that's, again, why the mastery is so important, because to respect your deity means that you're going to come to them with everything that they need to be able to do what it is that you're asking them to do. Mm-hmm. You're going to have the necessary items. You would have done the necessary rituals. You will be set up in a way that sets them up for success.
Exactly. And ancestral disrespect can look like. It can look like you ancestors. It can look like okay. So and not and no disrespect of African spirituality looks like. I guess I can put it. When you're practicing African spirituality, you not only become a role model for yourself, not just a role model for your ancestors, but you're a role model for the community. So when you go around here threatening to curse people, hex people, using your powers to subjugate them and make them feel inferior, that is ancestral disrespect. Ancestral disrespect is not being obedient to the commands of your ancestors when you're told to do something, whether that's in divination, meditation, or through a dream. That is disrespectful.
Or through a tradition that has been established that tells you how to deal with your ancestors.
Or how to deal with life.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I think of ancestral disrespect, I'm thinking of instances where people have appropriated certain religious practices and they're not initiated, and they're saying, you know what, I work with this deity. I've created this product because I work with this deity. I'm going to work with Oya because this client came to me even though
she needs some shit to change, and so I'm going to go to Oya, the Orisha of change, and make this happen. And the thing where people get fooled is that those energies are available. They're primordial forces of the universe. You can tap in, or as we always discuss, work with echoes of those energies. But to think that you actually have command of the energetic body, the supreme consciousness that is an Orisha, just because you get some results a couple of times is ridiculous and reckless.
Because that's the difference between thinking that because as a person that's melanated, you have
authorization automatically.
To access the echoes, the voice. So you can direct the tone of the voice where you want it to go, but you don't have command over the entity's limbs.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't make it move and walk and do what you want it to do.
Exactly.
But when you need to approach it to do what you want, when you need to animate that entity, you need to approach it with respect. Know which offerings it needs. Know when to give it those offerings.
Absolutely. Know if you're even authorized to, because just because you need work done doesn't mean that you can do it. You may have to employ someone else or implore someone else to do it on your behalf, even if you're a priest or a babalawo. It's just like performing surgery on yourself. And so, if you're a priest or a babalawo and you can't go to these deities all the time and have them do what it is that you need them to do for you, then if you are a YouTube scholar who's read a couple of really great books on Orisha, what makes you think that you can then command this energy and have Ogun start working on your behalf?
Just because you can read a book and you feel like your mind transcends beyond reality and you're traversing all these different spaces because you're ingesting other people's ideas, you feel like that experience is a part of your own. That in itself, that
is dangerous.
Is dangerous because then you start to feel as though you have certification to do things that you were never authorized to do, which is disrespectful.
That's disrespectful. It's disrespectful.
So, respect is earned and it is learned. It is earned and it is learned. And that's what I was going to get to.
Absolutely.
So, what are the consequences of ancestral respect? What are the consequences of what are the consequences or benefits of respect in African spirituality?
I think that the benefits are a life that is lived with the highest levels of joy. I think the life of your dreams, absolute bliss and harmony and very little resistance. I think that's the result of living a life that is obedient and respectful to the spirits that walk with you and serve you. I think that's the highest indication of success in that area.
I think that some of the benefits that you should receive from ancestral respect are access to an infinite supply of energy, whether that's an infinite supply of money, clientele, love, travel, pens and pencils,
love, admiration.
I also think that another benefit to it would be having peace of mind about any issue that you face, because you start to realize, like, one of the benefits of African spirituality is having peace of mind, knowing that obstacles are going to come. The wheel of fortune is going to turn. That's going to happen. But I will always have dominion over any situation that I encounter. So having that peace of mind and that security is one of the benefits of ancestral or African spirituality.
And you know something else, it may not always necessarily be dominion. It could just be being comfortable with obedience and knowing that obedience keeps you on a path that prevents you from having those obstacles or circumventing those obstacles, you know.
It's like being in it's like when you're in the second grade and a teacher gives another student, they're like, hey, take names when I'm out of class. So, you know, tattle on whoever's talking. And so you ain't talked, but you watching everybody else get paddled because you ain't talked and you were obedient. You're like, I'm getting my entertainment today. So that is one. But what are the consequences?
Well, I think, you know, again, just to keep it very basic, I think the consequences are frustration in your efforts, frustration in your ability to manifest things, frustration in your ability to be able to enjoy life to the fullest, frustration in encountering the same types of defeat over and over again. You know, I mean, I think that's the most basic indication, you know.
And for me, I would say that ancestral disrespect means that you are impoverished.
Absolutely. It can be, yeah. And that can show up in your life in many ways. You know, it can be financial, of course, but it can also be in areas of love, especially if you have bloodline issues where, you know, that was an issue, especially as we find this a lot. I know you've encountered it because we've talked about it with clients where the women in the family, you know, were never married or could never keep a husband. And that's a residue from slavery. We know that, you know. You may find that continues in your life. You know what I'm saying? As a bloodline curse. Bloodline curses are absolutely indications of disrespect or disobedience. And it may not stem from you. And that's the cold part.
Exactly. And you didn't have to go and heal the seed.
Yeah.
And the seed may not be alive. And then it's a lot more difficult to do.
Yeah.
But then again, it may be just as difficult with the person being alive. You got to take them on, y'all fix my life, and y'all got to get yelled at and watch your parents walk out the house. But ancestral disrespect does look like being impoverished or not having enough to sustain you in the areas of love, career, finances, family, your environment. It can look like you wanted to move. Yeah, getting your house broken into. Yeah. Ancestral disrespect means a lack of, or disrespect in African spirituality typically means we withdraw your protection. It doesn't mean that we're going to impose upon you dangers.
Yeah.
It just means that the dangers are going to now affect you.
Good luck.
Who's got your back? We had your back. And look at all of what's happening to you. And so when you turn your back on your ancestors, you are turning your back on guaranteed safety, peace of mind, protection, blessings that rain down upon you from places that you don't even, areas that you may not even expect. So you get that random job promotion and your boyfriend broke up with you that day because of your ancestral respect. So I wanted to talk to you about what have your ancestors done to people who have disrespected you?
So I'm not gonna. My ancestors.
Okay. So sometimes when I say the word ancestors, because we practice African spirituality, ancestors can be an all-encompassing term. It can encompass your blood ancestors, community ancestors like Martin Luther King and Nina Simone, who I'm not related to, racial ancestors that may be of the same race as me, but they may not have even tried to uplift the black community. Ancestors can be like Baron Samedi, who I consider to be my ancestor.
Patron deities of your bloodline and so on.
Patron deities, yes. So.
Okay. So
any entity in that pantheon of your Jinn, Orisha, Loa, ancestors, genies, demons.
I had a situation. I went to visit a friend. And I went to visit a friend, and for whatever reason, it was just a very tumultuous visit. We argued a lot. Things just didn't go smoothly. And by the end of my trip, I was utterly offended and annoyed with this person. And I remember I was dropped off at the airport and we said our goodbyes, and I'm walking to the gate and I'm thinking,
I love you.
Right. I'm walking to the gate and I'm thinking, oh my God, this was a terrible trip. You know, you're going to suffer for what you put me through. That was so unnecessary. This is the self-talk that I had, you know, thinking about this person. And so I boarded my plane and I had a layover before I made it home. And when I got to the city where my layover was, and I turned on my phone, do not advertise.
All right.
When I got to my layover city and powered on my phone, I received a barrage of pictures. This person's car had flipped over.
Wait, what?
As they were leaving.
Say that one more time. You received a barrage of pictures and what?
Their car flipped over.
Did their car flip over or what? Action verbs?
Their car was flipped over. Their car was flipped over as they were returning from dropping me off at the airport. Had another situation, and so more on that. I had another situation where a friend of mine was supposed to do work for me. They were supposed to actually obtain some items for me for work that I was going to do. And I asked them to do it, and they willingly said, yeah, sure. Items? Railroad spikes.
For who?
For Ogun. And Ogun is actually very important to me. Let me just leave it at that. So this individual had said that they would happily get the items for me. But when I went to go pick the items up, we ended up not seeing eye to eye about a past issue completely unrelated to the items that the person got for me. And so I ended up leaving without them. Well, the person thought about what they had done and called me back and was like, you know, I'm really sorry. I know you need this stuff. Come and get it. So I went back and I got the railroad spikes and I went on with my day. The next day, I get a phone call from the individual. Their engine in their car had locked up. And the car has not moved since. So the reason I'm bringing up these two incidents is because they both were examples of Ogun, the Orisha of metal, technology, machinery, transportation, acting on my behalf. I did not curse either one of these individuals. I did not even particularly want anything bad to happen to them other than, you know, the first incident that I explained where I was on the trip. I did kind of want that person to miss me real bad. Like, you know, you're going to really, really be sorry that you treated me the way that you did. But I'm thinking, you know, because I'm not going to call you. Not because your car is going to flip over and be totaled on the way from dropping me off. And so, just to put a bow on it, when that happened, I know, and it wasn't very far in between, was it? It was like maybe a month between those two incidents, if that.
Yeah,
and
it was.
And so it was so shot, and so I was at a point where I was coming into my power as well as a priestess. It was shortly after, and anyway, so that happened, and I called one of my mentors, and I said, you know, oh my God, you know, I think that I might be doing something to people and I really am not trying to. And so I explained to her the same story that I just explained to you, what happened with these two different individuals. And she said, no, you're not doing anything wrong. She said, they are. She said, you're a priestess. You're collared. People have to be careful how they treat you. Because when you are a priestess, especially in Ifa, the ashe of the Orisha that walk with you is actually becomes a part of your body. I can't exactly explain beyond that, but it actually becomes a part of you. So the Orisha are in you. And so if a person disrespects you, they are de facto disrespecting the Orisha.
Which we learned at the same time.
Right.
Because I had become acquainted with this woman, we'll call her
Heather.
I became acquainted with Heather at a psychic fair, and Heather didn't believe in hexes and curses. And at the time, I was starting to learn about hexes and curses and that they were real. At the time, I had been harmonized with Barone, who was in me. Mm-hmm. And she said, you know, Barone is just, maybe Barone could be a figment of your imagination or like an extension of your personality. Have you ever thought about that? And I felt disrespected, and I stayed on the phone with her about another 15 minutes, and then I called you immediately after, and I was like, can you believe what this bold-faced, bald-headed bitch just said to me with that musty-ass pussy?
Oh, God.
And you were like, I bet Barone cursed her. And I was like, no, he didn't. Quinn, do a reading and go check. So I throw the motherfucking cards. And the next thing that I see is Barone blocked her. She wanted to be in the media industry. And she wanted this. She was applying for this job. And Barone's like, bitch, I ain't finna get the job. The fuck you mean she ain't finna get the job? Job where?
What job?
And then did a bone reading. Mm-hmm. Oh, and the next dude she had sex with, that guy that she was asking you about, oh, she finna catch an STD from him. And I was like, what the hell is this shit? And I really couldn't. And at the time, I was like, Dava, like, this is too much. And then, when Barone said, if she keep fucking with you, I'm going to kill her. And I had that big-ass freak-out session where I was like, Dava, this shit is a gang.
Yes, you did have
this is a gang. I said, Barone is not playing with these people. Barone was like, I'm going to teach you how to kill her, and you're going to kill her. And I was like, Dava, no, I don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. I want to uninitiate. Whatever this spirit is in me has to get out of me, because whatever's disrespecting it is disrespecting me. And because it gets disrespected, I have to act on its behalf, or it will act on my behalf. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And those are some of the dangers of this shit. And it is real. I think that people need to know that in African spirituality, respect is important. They don't teach you that shit in angelic Wicca. Yeah. They don't teach you about respect in angelic Wicca. Mm-hmm. It's not a word they use. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My next thing that I wanted to talk to you about was, do deities have morals?
No.
No, they don't.
They don't. I mean, morality. But explain. Well, morality is a human construct.
What does that mean? First of all, I'll explain sociologically what it means, but what does that mean? Morality is a human construct.
It means that the Orisha and the Loa are not people. I'll speak about the Orisha. The Orisha are not people. They have been personified throughout history because these are oral traditions, and a lot of stories were told, and our information and history was recorded in a way that made it easy to remember, and also made it you have a lot of parables and teachable moments in the recording of the history and the interaction between humans and the deity, or humans and these forces of nature. And that's where we get the idea that Osun is this beautiful, voluptuous woman with flowers in her hair sitting on the banks of a river. Okay, there's that version of her. There are those women who personify Osun. I'm not even going to say that Osun could not materialize herself and be a woman sitting on the banks of the river. But what I will tell you is that what Osun actually is the sum total of all of the energy of all of the fresh water on this planet. That is what Osun is. That is who she is. So does the fresh water on this planet care about your feelings? Does the fresh water of this planet have a concern for what you think is right, or what someone, some construct, be it government or religious or otherwise organization, is telling us what is right? No. It's a primordial energy. It's a cause of creation. They don't care about that.
And the difference was, and that brings me to this point, which is the culture of Haitian voodoo is that the rules you create the rules and they will govern you. Mm-hmm. And what I've come to learn is that the spiritual principles supersede the rules that you create, because they predated you. Mm-hmm. the spiritual principles that I've learned are that respect comes first of the deity. So,
can I just say one
go
thing
ahead.
too? Mm-hmm. The history and understanding of our ancestors is such that they were taught by these energies, by these forces that they encountered as early humans, how to deal with them. Mm-hmm. And that is also part of what's built into the tradition and what is best practices.
I mean, there you have it. The point that I wanted to make was that what I've come to learn is that if I don't in working, I guess it's in Barone doesn't. It's not Barone had a human construct. You, for example, may have taught your children that it is, it's like at 25 you want to be married and have kids. Mm-hmm. My mama didn't teach me that because she really did not know. Mm-hmm. Both of those are human constructs which are telling people what are the moral standards. Like, here's how your life should be lived at a certain age. Neither one right or wrong. Now, with that being said, if you were a deity and people were to work with you, it would be an expectation that they would have to have children in order to work with you. If that's how you designed yourself, if you so designed yourself that way. That being said, Barone is designed in such a way where it's like there's no morality in things. It's like people come to you for a request, and their request must be done because that's how you respect me. Mm-hmm. They want it done, they get it done, and I personally may not want it done, but I'm not going to disrespect Barone and not do it. Because I don't want the shit to fall back on me. Mm-hmm. Now, if that's bad for that other person, it's better for it to fall on them than for it to fall on me. Because I'm looking out for myself.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I am
have
the
to
one.
Obey.
I have to be obedient to the respect. Right. This person may be in the same tradition as me. Mm-hmm. And if they don't like the consequences, then it's like, well, get the fuck out of the shit. Why are you doing it? Because if you're in the same path as me, then you already knew what it was. But if somebody that doesn't know, then you need to be careful because this shit ain't nothing to play with. It's not about right and wrong. It's just about if you want this person's husband, you're going to get this person's husband. If you want this money, you're going to get this money. If you want to get out for this court case, you're going to get out for this court case. But it does come with a price and it comes with consequences.
Also, what we have to remember and think about constantly is that these are sciences. So, like any science, there's a certain understanding that goes to it. So it may not be that there's a judgment attached to it of right or wrong or moral or immoral and the deity won't do this particular thing because they don't think it's right. It just may be that particular deity is not the best way to make that particular thing happen. Or that energy is tricky and things could backfire or not work out the way you intend.
Exactly.
Because, like, I'll use the Orisha Oya, for example. Oya is the Orisha of, she's the wind. Many other things, she governs, but she is the wind. And one of the things that they say about, and so the winds of change is a great way to think about Oya. And if you enlist Oya, it is said that you better be absolutely sure that what you task her with is exactly what you want because there's no going back. So if you say, Oya, I'm sick of this house, please help me. She's not going to come and rearrange the furniture. She's going to burn the house down. You got to know what you're doing. Because there is no morality, is what I'm saying. And that's, but you're getting into some real shit because Barone, for example, can do that's what I learned in Haiti. Barone can do anything. Mm-hmm. But does that mean that he's immune to other variables? No, effectiveness. The way that Barone gets shit done, it's either going to be smooth or it's going to be grimy. Mm-hmm. It's either one. It's either pimp style, and pimp style can be real smooth or it can be grimy as hell. Or it's going to be just straight up, it's going to be straight in your face, which is still pimp style, which is, bitch, I'm just going to pimp spec you, just make you do it anyway. Mm-hmm. But thinking about love, thinking about romance and love relationships, sometimes it's beating somebody over the head to make them love you versus working with Urzuli Frida, where it may be a more enchanting and romantic experience that you may have with this particular individual. So it's not that Barone isn't the most effective. It's that the effect that is this the type of effect that you want to get what you want,
And that's how it works in this line, in at least in this line.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
and that goes. It's all so related because again, that respect is mastery and understanding. So if you go to an Orisha or a Loa that is not best suited for what it is that you want to do, you're disrespecting that Loa. You're disrespecting yourself and the work that it is that you're trying to do. It all works together.
Okay, so have you ever heard of somebody being haunted by an entity?
Of course I've heard about it. I've heard of people being possessed and things like that. I have, yes, to answer your question. Yeah.
Yeah, I have as well. I've heard of entities stealing people's money.
Yeah.
From them. I've heard of entities. I've heard of let's not say an entity's hexing or cursing people. The thing that I'm thinking of is an individual who feels like another individual is constantly doing work against them.
Okay, so
and they feel like they're being haunted by a crazed ex-lover.
So we're not talking about like a possession. Being possessed by a spirit. We're talking about actually someone being hurt, hexed or cursed.
Hexed, cursed, okay. Yeah.
All right. Absolutely. What? Absolutely. I mean, that's a big part of this life. It's hexing and unhexing and, protection against hexes and so on and so forth. Absolutely. I know individuals that have actually been hexed, and then more often than not, we have people that come to us who are self-hexing.
I've met someone, I dated someone who was hexed by someone that he had dated. Because of the things that she had spoken over this individual's life. And then I had to undo a lot of that so that they could see themselves a hell of a lot more clearly. Because that person had internalized so many of those messages that eventually their resistance barriers had been broken down to where it was like, hey, they believe what they were self-hexing themselves by repeating the things that they heard. But what is this about possessions, though?
Well, I mean, possessions can take many forms, and I'm just going to go with, in my tradition in Ifa, there are actually instances where one would hope to be possessed, where there are rituals and ceremonies that take place, and you would hope that the Orisha, the spirit of the Orisha, would enter you, and you can, work with that energy and personify that energy if but for a moment. So it is possible to have your physical form, I guess, be so heavily influenced by an energy that you are no longer acting on your own.
Well, I have experienced a full-on, partial possession where my ass was dancing a monkey in goddamn Haiti. I'll show you the video. I don't know if I showed it to you, but Barone possessed me. And I did not know it was Barone, and I was popping dick everywhere, and I did show. I did not know that I was possessed. I thought I was just stumbling. I would go in of it. I mean, I'll be into it and then out of it, and it's like I'm aware. It's like shit, I'm winding, and next thing I know, I'm like passed out, and then I'm winding again. I'm passed out, winding again, and passed out, and so possession, popping that coochie, spreading it low and sharing it wide. But possession is definitely a goal, to be possessed by the deity so that it can live through you, celebrate itself, be venerated by other people, experience life, and then leave particles of its essence for other people to consume and to use. However, I've met people that I'm like, you got some shit in you. You got a sex demon. You're addicted to sex. You're addicted to alcohol. You are addicted to eating, addicted to self-deprecation, addicted to being delusional, addicted to this man.
Addiction is definitely a spirit, I believe.
I wish we could name it.
It has a name. More on that later.
Tune in to another show where we talk about the addiction spirit.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, possession is definitely a goal, but there are different types of possession. The possessions that require an exorcism or a cleansing are not the ones that
Yeah, it's not.
We're glorifying.
Yeah. It's not the same.
Those are not the goals.
Those are not the goals. And also, you guys, if you are trying to conjure spirits and work with deity and entities that you are not genetically authorized to work with, you're opening yourself up for that kind of thing. I mean, your black ass can conjure Athena if you want to. But there's so many steps between here and there, and so many gatekeepers, and eons of history and DNA that stand between you and that energy that is Athena. Good luck tapping in.
I've met a lot of people that live scammer lifestyles, or they live like paycheck to paycheck, and they work with deities that are outside of their bloodline's pantheon, such as I'm an African American working with Athena. And then they'll call me and they're like, why is my life this way? And I'm like, your life is this way because, bitch, you're cursed. Do you not think that all those white people that have historically
between here and there
and traditionally worshipped her are not protecting Athena's energy and swiping at your ancestors, cutting their throats, killing them, chopping them off, leaving them left for dead, stanking in a grave? So it's possession is real. You want to be possessed by deities that are of your bloodline, that you already have authorization to. They giving you credit. It is of you.
Yeah. And in your DNA are markers for these experiences. In your DNA are markers, and it's like a phone number. You get what I'm saying? And the Orisha, they have your phone number. They can pick up that phone and you can actually answer. That's really more of what it is than them taking over your body. They're just activating aspects of your body so that you can experience them.
And you all know that you all know that I'm telling the truth because you've seen videos of me possessed and I killed that motherfucking goat. Yes, I did. I don't remember doing a goddamn thing, and I was not there. That was not me. That's why I was shaking and passing out and shit. Because that voodoo shit is real. Vodou shit is real. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right.
Those types of possessions are desirable for the moment. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, what about like it happened in the last video where I'm talking and then all of a sudden I hear 3 oranges with 11 cloves in each one. How do you explain those moments that we have when we're doing readings or we're doing work for clients, or realistically we're just minding our own fucking business and spirit comes through and for a brief moment we're forced to transmit a message?
See, the thing is that when you have a clearly defined destiny that is specifically designed towards divination, you're going to be a channel. And you're going to pick up on messages that are appropriate for the right moment, the right time. And because you are a willing vessel, you're willing to say everything that it is that you hear. A lot of people are open channels, but are they a willing vessel?
Yeah.
Take me high, I'll be your liar too. Cause when we're here, there's nothing better than the sky